everyone! Pineapple here with the next episode of Daredevil Born Again, episode 4. Last time we had a pretty good setup for the show as a whole, great character moments to settle us into this new Matt and Fisk dynamic, and a slightly disappointing arc as we set up White Tiger, only to get rid of him in the next episode. But I'm hoping that this episode actually gets the ball rolling. And I was a little disappointed. There's some good stuff here, but boy does it feel like it's barely moving along. We start dealing with Hector's remains, the police not finding the bullet shell, and Hector's niece demanding to see his body, who, being named Angela, I assume is the next White Tiger. But whether we'll see anything like that in this show is up in the air. I think the emotions here would have been more effective though if she appeared earlier while Hector was still alive. I mean, she could have been in the courtroom, but I don't remember her having lines or anything. It just feels a little out of left field this episode when she appears here to once again show that Matt can be better as himself and a vigilante. And then even though apparently having a rapport with Matt just disappears. And she seems pretty casual with Matt, as if they met before. It's all just a bit strange. No, not you.
Nice to meet you too.
We get another look at street art we've seen in previous episodes, now tagged by Muse, a comic book villain whose casting wasn't confirmed, but by now, everyone's pretty on board with my guess that it's Wednesday's ex. As we see him carrying bodies to his studio, I guess? And these teasers to him are really effective. Sure, they're only really at the start and the end, but the way they portray him and his lair in obscured and creepy shots is pretty effective. We see the incel one, apart from the woman in the Brit, flexing on women in the club about just how much he loves Fisk. So pissed he's spouting off confidential information that will come to bite him in the arse later. But come on, I have no idea who's into this character. Why does this episode give him such a focus? Fisk eventually learns of his betrayal, but once the boy takes the blame with a lot of glazing, Fisk forgives him, spouting about how loyalty is so valuable, while I'm begging for any other character to take the spotlight. Now we get to the actual lawyer drama of the episode, and to call it underwhelming is probably accurate. Leroy Bradford is caught stealing from a store, and his story is compelling. Someone who's had a really rough go and just wanted something sweet. But he's just a whiny bitch and it's hard to care. Sure, it's not entirely his fault, he has a relatable story, but it's hard to empathise when he's portrayed like this. It also strangely ties into this episode's Latvian Heritage Day theme, and why? I don't live in New York, so hey, they may have major ties to Latvia, I don't know. But as someone not in the loop of how important Latvia is, I have no idea what's going on here, or why the episode focuses on it so much. Meanwhile, Fisk is suffering through therapy as Vanessa goes on and on about Adam, annoying Wilson so much that Vanessa is taken aside and asked if she's being abused. Vanessa later actually questioning whether she should feel safe with him or not. Vincent D'Onofrio actually pulling off a great speech where he seems to really want to fix the relationship. It's a great moment. Thanks to the incel, he also has to deal with BB making people think he hates unions, as he tries to get a dock refurbished fast-tracked. After that, as they've talked about, we get this hilarious scene where Fisk has to sit through a discordant children's choir. The awkwardness in Fisk sold perfectly, and after he runs away, getting a moment where he sounds like an angry and confused child.
I want an all-hands meeting, now! Where am I?
The joke is solidified perfectly as the Latvian choir pulls the same shit. Of course, the BB report returns as negligible as ever, and Matt heads to the scene of the crime. And while the way he finds the missing bullet casing is cool, how he finds it is ridiculously specific, and perhaps the most unrealistic thing I've seen in the MCU. And I'm comparing it to interdimensional witches, celestials, and lesbian death. The image on the casing sends Matt to Frank Castle, aka the Punisher, where nothing amazing happens action-wise, but they share a nice dialogue. And usually a detour like this would feel cobbled together, lazy, but they actually use these two interacting, their histories and other worldviews to their advantage. Punisher figuring out exactly what Matt's about and breaking down Matt's walls, exposing his guilt for Foggy's death that he's kept deep. I'm sure this moment will disappoint a few, but the slow approach worked here better than it has elsewhere in the program.
So what now?
Every day Bullseye goes to the chow hall, eats his slop.
You know he gets to breathe the same air that you breathe. You feel good about that? He got life!
How about old Foggy? He got life.
Apart from a nice little scene with Matt and Heather, we get a really nice duality in the end, as Matt and Fisk's other sides are both shown to us. Matt getting out of bed and practicing his daredeviling moves, and Fisk shown to in fact have Adam locked underground and most likely tortured, explaining his previously unexplained hurt knuckles from before. Both scenes are shot pretty well, and paired with Muse are a nice tease to keep you watching for another week, even if the rest of the episode could have felt more substantive. This might be the worst episode so far, but there were a few moments that I really liked. But I'm hoping the next 2 episodes, or 3 depending on when I review them, will be a sight better. And no, I will not stop complaining about the BB report. Sure, it's nice to see the population of the city talk, but with no plot moving forward or anything, it's just frustrating. Thank you everybody for watching my review of Daredevil Born Again episode 4, and we should have episodes 5, 6 and 7 coming along the way in the next video. Please like the video if you liked it, comment down below if you wish, consider subscribing to the channel, and if you do, ring the notification bell so that you are told every single time that I make an upload. Once again, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next review. Bye!
Toast. A little piece of toast. Because there's so much to choose from. There's brown bread, white bread, all sorts of wholemeal bread. It comes in funny packages with writing on the side.